In over 4.6 billion years, the world has transformed into a new planet. In just the past century alone, mankind has experienced over 400 wars, 5 pandemics, 68 epidemics, and 4.5 billion more people. The world is growing older. With the scientific discoveries of cloning to genetically modified agriculture, science fiction is becoming reality. With these findings come the mounting fear. There are those who believe that the human race is moving too fast. Will we be the cause of our extinction? I am Kriti Thapa, and this is the question of morals and beliefs. This is the question of bioethics. Douglas Enns is a middle school science teacher at the Queen's campus. He has studied pharmacology in university and will now be speaking about antibacterial chemicals in household products.
For cleaning, such as toothpaste or soap or shampoo, I have a really hard time finding one that is not antibacterial. And I can remember only 10 years ago where almost every single product was antibacterial. And I have a major problem with that because I think the public is being misinformed. As a science teacher and as a biologist, I feel that the overuse of products containing triclosan and other antibacterial products are actually going to do more harm than good.
Recent studies have shown that using generic soap has just the same effect as antibacterial soap. Using too much antibacterial soap can promote the resistance of bacterium to antibiotics. A study conducted by University of California, Davis suggests that certain antibacterial soaps can in fact harm the nervous system. Triclosan, a main ingredient in antibacterial soap, has shown to be a human carcinogen.
The more often we use those, the more often that we allow antibiotic resistance bacteria to grow and to thrive. And so what we're doing is we're creating a culture of overuse of these products. And after that, what I think is going to happen, and from the literature that says that we're only increasing the rise of things like superbugs, MRSA, and other products. So my biggest problem is that the public is not being properly informed about the dangers of overuse of these products. And really there should be a warning on them, and they shouldn't be easily accessible to everyone. Instead, leave them to hospitals and other health institutions, and leave the non-antibacterial products for us, because really they haven't been proven to be any more effective than just regular soap and water.
Students of the United Nations International School have been conducting experiments on California blackworms to test the effect of various toxins on the pulse rate of the worms. High school seniors expressed their concerns over the moral dilemmas set forth by the International Baccalaureate.
Basically what we've decided to do is investigate different pH levels and how that affects the worms. So we've used them from acids to bases, and our control is pH 7. And what we've sort of realized is that the acids and the bases both kill the California blackworms, and we're having an ethical dilemma with that. We've killed about 10 worms, and they are just worms, but at the same time, I feel like we're killing these animals.
Experimenting on worms may not seem like a cause for alarm, However, the idea alone of testing on an animal is one that should be questioned. An undercover PETA member filmed experiments conducted on animals in the University of Utah. These are his findings.
Because I filled out health reports for this one on the 15th, this one was on the 13th, but like I just looked at them and they look worse. So have they not been looked at yet, or? It's like the 22nd. It's over a week for that one. Yeah.
Experimenters cut into spinal cords and tender eyes of rabbits and tied off nerves in rats' paws just to study their pain. Mice who had been dead for many days went unnoticed or were ignored by laboratory staff. Some animals died because no one noticed they had run out of water.
Been dead for 1 year. Oh, yeah. Been dead for what? So, do you think it's like an illness in the cage that made them?
No, I think they ran out of water and one of them lived.
We were told that we had to find a way to affect their pulse rates, so we have to think of a way to hurt the birds.
And change their environment.
Yeah, reenact global warming in a petri dish.
So we chose to do a common work of pollution and infect them with lead.
Yeah, so we are literally giving lead poison to worms.
Through submerging them in lead.
And we are seeing if their heart rates are going down, and they are. And I have killed worms.
Genetically modified crops and food has created an outrage in the scientific community. Altering the genetic material of plants, the concern over whether or not they are safe for humans and organisms alike has plagued researchers since the advent of GM agriculture. Yet the issue of GM agriculture not only affects the science behind it, but the impact it has on a socio-economic level. Some argue that patenting GM crops or seeds will ultimately raise the price of seeds so high that small or impoverished farmers could no longer afford to continue their operations. Teacher and scientist Elke Bergholz is an advocate for the research on ozone depletion and also has dedicated most of her life to marine and terrestrial biology.
PRO is really concerning the third world countries. We're looking at plant enhancement growth, because we can insert a gene that enhances the growth, and we can enhance a gene that will be introducing resistance to pests, to diseases. So that overall could help the third world countries in terms of their plant productivity. In terms of the corn, it's really when I'm looking at this country that does not label genetically modified food. So if you eat a tomato, you can't really determine, or you can't know beforehand, or even at all, if that tomato is enhanced with a gene. So we have antifreeze tomato genes inside to prolong the ripening. We also have some food that enhances growth, and we don't know whether we're actually eating these new genes or not. And I know we're producing a lot of food because of the gene enhancement, but I wished we could have our own choice over it. Therefore, the market about organic food is so big. When it's promoted to have organic food, then we know for sure, or at least we think so, that this is really purely grown without any kind of genetically enhanced products. I hope that this country will push for labeling enhanced products. If we help the enhancement of wheat and the growth and anti-pesticide genes, we also need to be concerned how that gene can be transferred to other crops and how that affects. So there's a lot of things that we need to question, but also a lot of things that we can have already welcomed in order to help the human race in food production.
The debate over euthanasia has grown stronger in the coming years as more and more patients suffering from incurable disease seek to end their life. One such example that had plagued the global media in 2008 was the story of French schoolteacher Chantal Cibre. The story of Cibre began with the growth of a tumor in a nasal passage, a tumor that left her partially blind, unable to smell or taste, and disfigured for life. With no option in removing the tumor, Miss Cibre had pleaded to the French court to allow her euthanization. With the court ruling against her, Miss Cibre had no other choice than to commit suicide herself. Counselor and child psychiatrist Jared Smith has worked in the United Nations International School for several years.
I wouldn't want to live my life, whatever's left of it, within that, and I would want those around me who love me or care for me to be able to make a choice to say, this is not what Jared has always seen his life as or what he wanted to. And I can understand how it can be hard to do such a thing for someone to make that decision, but having known me and having discussed how I see life and how I see, the way I believe I should live my life or be capable of living my life, I think that decision should be able to be made. And it shouldn't be taken out of our hands at that stage. I would feel more comfortable knowing that my wishes were followed, that I had made them during a rational decision in my life, like sort of a living will, or some such legal document that said Jared had signed and talked and it had been witnessed about this, and was his wish. So please follow it up. I know there's some complication with if you've never had this rational decision, but I think most people would have this conversation prior to getting to that stage if they felt they were allowed to, if it wasn't an illegal process at this point. And people would then address the idea of terminal illnesses or debilitating illnesses that reduces someone to a shadow of their former self. So I believe that it should be something that people have the choice.
You have now seen several interviews conducted on a broad spectrum of issues related to bioethics. However, to truly understand the impact that science has on humankind, we must travel deeper and farther than ever before. Just in this short 7 minutes alone, we have already discussed the issues of animal testing, GM agriculture, biological warfare, euthanasia, and the role of religion on medicine. With the start of a new decade come the new findings and discoveries that grace our papers every morning. With the newfound hope comes the newfound fears that we as a species are at a point of self-destruction, a point in which we may never return from. But we mustn't let the tragedies overshadow the miracles. Just in the past decade alone, science has increased the life expectancy of patients living with HIV/AIDS. The creation of retrovirus vaccines has saved the lives of millions of infants worldwide, and the cure for cancer seems to be inching closer. But it is up for you to decide where you stand with the issues. Thank you for watching. This has been Kriti Thapa. Goodbye. Seeds so high that small or impoverished farmers no one knows this place just quite like me. Well, I don't hang with the crowd. Well, I go, we're dressing down. I take you where the music plays for free. So don't rely on people you meet, 'cause no one is safe in these streets. I wanna take you out tonight. I wanna make you feel right. I don't have a lot of money, but we'll be fine. No, I don't have a penny, but I'll show you good. I wanna make you feel alright.
It has a gene
So I do